The sublime is a concept that refers to the experience of awe and terror that can be inspired by the natural world, and it is a central theme in the novel. The characters in Wuthering Heights are often overwhelmed by the power and majesty of the natural world around them. And their experiences of the sublime shape their emotions and their relationships with one another. Another important theme in Wuthering Heights is the concept of social class and its impact on relationships and identity. The novel is set in a time when social class was a defining feature of English society, and the characters in the novel are deeply affected by the social hierarchy in which they live. The novel explores the ways in which social class shapes the characters' perceptions of themselves and others, and how it impacts their relationships with one another. The novel's central love story between Catherine and Heathcliff is deeply influenced by social class. Catherine is brought up in a wealthy family, while Heathcliff is an orphan and a servant. Their different social backgrounds create a barrier that prevents them from being together, and ultimately leads to Catherine marrying into a higher social class. This decision has a profound impact on both characters, and leads to a lifetime of suffering and regret. The theme of social class is also reflected in the novel's exploration of identity. The characters in Wuthering Heights are deeply influenced by the social roles that they are expected to play, and they struggle to reconcile these roles with their true selves. Heathcliff, in particular, is a character who is deeply conflicted about his identity. He is brought up as a servant, and is constantly reminded of his lower social status. This leads to a deep sense of resentment and anger, which shapes his character throughout the novel. Finally, the theme of social class is closely tied to the novel's exploration of power and control. The characters in Wuthering Heights are constantly vying for power and control, both over themselves and over others. This struggle for power is often tied to social class, with characters using their social status to gain advantage over others. The novel explores the ways in which power and control can be used to manipulate and exploit others, and highlights the destructive impact that this can have on relationships and identities. Another important theme in Wuthering Heights is the concept of revenge and its impact on human relationships. The characters in the novel are often driven by a desire for revenge, which leads to a cycle of violence and suffering that is difficult to break. The theme of revenge is closely tied to the novel's exploration of power and control, as characters seek revenge in order to regain a sense of power and agency over their lives. The character of Heathcliff is particularly driven by a desire for revenge. He has suffered deeply as a result of his lower social status and the rejection of his love by Catherine, and he seeks revenge against those who have wronged him. His desire for revenge leads him to manipulate and exploit those around him, ultimately leading to a cycle of violence and suffering that affects everyone in the novel. The theme of revenge is also closely tied to the novel's exploration of the human condition. Wuthering Heights is a novel that is concerned with the complexity of human emotion and the struggles that individuals face as they navigate the often difficult and unpredictable terrain of life. The characters in the novel are flawed and conflicted, and they are often driven by powerful and conflicting emotions such as love, hate, and revenge. Through their struggles and their emotions, they come to understand the true nature of the human heart and the complexity of human relationships. Finally, the theme of revenge is closely tied to the novel's exploration of the supernatural.